In the 15th chapter of Matthew, Jesus is at a breaking point. After weeks of traveling through his homeland, he has been met with near-constant rejection. He is physically exhausted and facing the apparent failure of his mission among his own people. He leaves ancient Israel behind and crosses the border into pagan territory, wandering deep into the land of the Canaanites. For the people of Israel, this is enemy soil. The Canaanites represent a history of bitter, centuries-old religious and cultural hostility. Despite this, a local Canaanite woman tracks him down. Her daughter is critically ill, and she is desperate enough to seek a miracle from a foreign Jewish holy man. When a child's life is at stake, the historical weight of a border starts to dissolve. Only a crisis of this scale is powerful enough to force someone across such a deeply entrenched cultural divide. She follows him, loudly begging for help. Jesus reacts with a startling lack of compassion. He ignores her completely, meeting her desperate pleas with absolute silence. As she continues to shout, the disciples grow visibly annoyed. They begin pressing Jesus to get rid of her and send her away. When Jesus finally speaks, his words are jarring. He tells her that it is not right to take the food meant for the children and throw it to the dogs. And this creates a disturbing narrative tension. The embodiment of universal love appears to be treating a grieving mother with exclusionary cruelty. Jesus is constructing a deliberate psychological trap, and the target is his own inner circle. In education, this is known as a pedagogical paradox. A teacher intentionally mirrors the flawed expectations of their students to force them to confront the logic of their own prejudices. By ignoring the woman and then dismissing her as an outsider, Jesus acts out the exact behavior his disciples expect and desire from a Jewish holy man. He is holding up a mirror to his followers. By performing their biases in real time, he forces them to hear how small and exclusionary their view of God actually sounds. For the disciples to experience a spiritual breakthrough, Jesus must first make them feel the weight of their own deeply held prejudices. To understand the resolution of this encounter, we have to look past the bare text. A written transcript removes the facial expressions, the body language, and the tone of voice that define human communication. The specific Greek word in the Gospel provides vital context. It's not the standard term for street dog, but a diminutive word for house puppy. This choice creates a soft, inviting opening, signaling the initial rebuke may not be as final as it sounds. The woman recognizes the opening. Instead of retreating in bitterness, she matches his wit, pointing out that even the house puppies get the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Her love for her daughter is her primary motivation. She has decided that she simply will not take no for an answer. Her unyielding response shatters the disciples' worldview. She proves that profound character and faith exist far beyond the boundaries of their closed circle. Jesus is delighted. He breaks the tension and openly praises her, declaring that she possesses great faith. This praise creates a sharp contrast with St. Peter. Only lines before this passage, the lead disciple demonstrated little faith when he grew terrified and began to sink during a storm on the Sea of Galilee. The irony is profound. The chosen insider panicked during his trial, while the ancient enemy demonstrated unwavering trust in the middle of her crisis. The encounter ends with an act of mercy. Jesus lovingly grants her request, and her daughter is healed instantly. The lesson for the disciples is clear. God's grace is not a regional or ethnic monopoly, but a gift available to anyone who seeks it. The story redefines the metric of true faith. Access to this love is not based on historical pedigree, but on the persistence of the individual. This type of faith requires approaching a crisis with absolute trust and a refusal to back down, even when met with silence. This mother's desperate persistence mirrors the posture Jesus himself would later take in the Garden of Gethsemane. In his own moment of agony, he would plead with his Father with that same unwavering, repetitive intensity. We are called to follow her example. When driven by love for others, we must take our needs to the Lord and refuse to take no for an answer. True faith recognizes that even the smallest scraps of grace falling from the table are enough to heal a sick child.